Living in the ever-present sense of being watched from afar by unseen forces, I was at my parents' home on a cold winter day. When the bell rang, Mom came in with a few packages from shopping, took them in her room as usual, and closed the door behind her. This house was arranged with a long corridor separating 3 bedrooms from the living room, kitchen, and bathroom. From the bedrooms, you could enter the living room at the front of the house and the kitchen towards the rear. I walked back into the kitchen from another door that led from the living room directly into the kitchen. From the other kitchen entrance leading into the corridor, I noticed a large shadowy silhouette on the far wall. It was the rounded part of an angel ring as portrayed in photos. It was so big, I didn't immediately notice the shape of the head on the ceiling. I first assumed it was a shadow of something new in the room, but found nothing that was rounded at the top, nor any combination of things that would give that shape. Realizing it was the angel of death, I heard about it. I backed up, keeping my eyes on the figure as long as possible, backing into the living room. The shadow was now at the front of the house, on the same wall. I walked forward and back into the kitchen. There it was again. I backed slowly and this thing floated toward the living room. I did this 4 or 5 times. Each time the image moved with me as if it was going to meet me in the other room and stopped at the other entrance of the corridor. Mom came out of a room and the image vanished. A couple days later, I felt sluggish and somewhat grouchy. Not well at all. I don't recall how the conversation went when my mom grabbed me by the shoulders and shook me violently and yelled, "Satan, turn loose of my daughter in the name of Jesus." It felt as if the world had been lifted from my shoulders. I looked up and saw a shadow of no particular form rush out of the top of the living room door that leads outside. My head cleared, my energy returned, and I felt great. A little baffled at what I saw, but I was back to normal. When I was a freshman in college, I had what is to this day the most terrifying experience of my life. One night, I'd been hanging out with my friends around 1 o'clock a.m. when I decided it was finally time to get ready for bed. I lived in a freshman dorm with long hallways of bedrooms and common shared bathrooms in the middle of each floor. I walked into our floor's bathroom and started getting ready for bed, brushing my teeth, washing my face, etc. While washing my face, I instantaneously had the wind knocked out of me and struggled to catch my breath. Nothing physically hit me, but I felt such a tremendously overwhelming feeling of evil behind me that I literally was paralyzed with fear. I couldn't move. For several seconds, I could not breathe. I remember the pressure in the room changing and my ears literally popping. I knew that something was behind me in that room. I swear to you, I knew that if I would have looked into the mirror to see what was behind me, I would probably be institutionalized. It was that scary. I basically sprinted down the hall and into my room once I could move and breathe again. I literally hiding under my covers and pillow until I finally fell asleep quite some time later. Approximately 6 to 7 years later, I was talking with another man who graduated from that same college 3 years after I did. We had a lot in common, and I served as a teacher's assistant for the same professor. This man knew a bit about my family's history with ghosts and spirits, and asked me to share some of my stories. When I told him the story of my experience in the residence hall, he was stunned. He told me that the professor we both had worked for had told him years earlier that the campus had been struggling with a demonic presence at the same time I had my experience. He also said that our professor had an identical experience to my own in his office late one evening. I have never felt pure, powerful, evil like that before, nor have I ever felt so scared in my entire life. Part of me wonders what I would have seen had I looked up into the mirror, but I am mostly thankful that I did not. 4 years ago, I had a friend that died miserably from a car crash. My friend was a Satanist, by the way. He always was interested in the black arts and showed it to me. He did something to me that day before he died without me knowing, until I realized today that his curse is taking form. How I know he cursed me? Because he told me when he was already dead. He told me that he was studying the black arts for many years. He never tried on anyone besides me. He wanted to see if it would work on a Christian like me. He gave me detailed information of what he did. He lit up candles, painted a pentagram on the floor. He had a book with him to show him how he hexed someone, and finally he chanted my name in Latin for the spell to work. I didn't believe him because he was a friend. He did it to prove that he had powers and see if I had visions of seeing the dead. But instead I'm hearing demonic voices. I guess he chanted the spell wrong. After the first year he cursed me, I went to church to rid of my curse. It seemed that it was working. All this prayer and positive people surrounding me until I saw something that shouldn't have been in the church in the first place. First, I was getting lightheaded and soon tired. I closed my eyes for a couple seconds, getting drowsy. Then the church was getting dimmer. I turned my head towards the aisle. All of a sudden, I saw a little girl drenched in blood. Usually this experience is common for me. I used to see dead people all the time, in my dreams that is. My power is to communicate with spirits and see how they died. I can't control this power. I can't turn it on and off. I can't control it when I'm asleep, of course. Anyways, the girl was walking down the aisle. I opened my eyes wider and she was gone. I saw her again afterwards, repeating the process again. She walked down the aisle. This time try screaming at her, but with all the rejoicing and music from the church, she didn't hear me, so I just didn't try contacting her after that. She walked down the altar. She fell and kneeled down in front of the pastor. Without him knowing, she yells at him for no reason. All of a sudden the music stopped, and the pastor realized that something negative was within the church. He said to everyone that don't be alarmed. But there's a demon in the church. Everyone started to laugh, but he was serious. All of a sudden, other people felt the cold behind their backs. I turned around and saw others like her. People so real, but dead at the same time, marching to the altar. I was the only one that could see them and can hear them. I think Christians do have abilities that come from God, so I think they know also. The pastor knows that the only way demons can enter the church, only if someone invited them. In that moment, I left the church. I didn't want to be embarrassed. I was in the third to the last row, so it was easy for me to make my escape. Soon after that, the demons started to look at me when I left. They soon followed me out. I started walking faster and faster, but they just stayed at the church grinning at me. I knew I was not safe, not even in church. I seek help, try every medication, but nothing. I can't remove the curse. The person who cast it on me could do it, but he's dead. Now I'm stuck for the rest of my life knowing that I have demons that want my soul. Every time I turn around, they're there. but for some reason they don't attack me. They know my soul is damned. The only way to cure myself is to get myself baptized. Hopefully that will work, I do think. I'm not sure if I can, but I tried it on myself and seemed to temporarily push the demon away. I wear a necklace with a cross on it for protection. That also pushed them away. I keep wishing my life will be normal, but believe me or not, this is not fun or a joke. I know what life is after death, and it seems to follow me everywhere I go.